There's so many things open.
There you are.
Alright.
Invite is sent.
Thank you. Okay. We got that intro playing. We're gonna skip the intro. Sorry, folks. Risk of Rain 2's been out for a while. If you'd like to see the intro movie, go look it up.
We are researched.
Okay. And I have no idea how much of my window I'm going to be losing to to chat here, but we're going to give this a try. So I'm on a single screen. Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome back, Dan. Where did my pizza go?
You have pizza?
I baked Supreme Pizza stuffed pizza for dinner. I think I ate my piece though. My other meds kicked in and the munchies have arrived. Yeah, I was gonna ask earlier if I need to like go if I needed to go download like the Risk of Rain mod manager and all that, because I know that there's mods out there that let you break the number of players involved.
Yes.
I have 16 people hanging out.
So here I am starting my stream as well here, and bringing everyone in. We have myself, TheSandWife, and Ninja.
Thank you for the intro, Koi.
We were going to have a couple extra people in. Unfortunately, circumstances are preoccupied here and all there. But it happens.
I'm assuming we're starting on monsoon.
That'd be fine with me. Did you have any particular objectives you wanted to try for?
Nope, I have completely given up on objectives in this game because I've already played the hell out of it.
Fair enough.
What
would you like to make the goal for then?
You know, let's take a look here. I'm taking a look at the artifacts to see if we want to play something silly here. Could run Artifact of Vengeance. Relentless Doppelganger will invade every 10 minutes.
That can get troubling, but sure.
Well, I mean, if the point is that we're looking for something else besides just playing the game, I haven't touched this in months, so this is my warm-up.
Well, I've got only a few characters I managed to get all the objectives done.
Okay. Yeah, if there's any that like you're looking for the mastery skin or something, like I have not played most of these for their masteries. I have not bothered trying to unlock any of the extra skills on like Captain or Bandit. For a while I was working on multi and just couldn't get it up.
Oh yeah, I like multi.
Multi's fun. Multi's really fun when you get like a good synergy on multiple like really good use items.
I just like stacking bleed with the what's it called? The auto-nail gun.
Yeah.
Of course, I should also say hello to everyone here. Everyone, both our streams, Dan and Buster, and my secret little mute deaf friend Mikon.
Hello,
of course,
everyone.
Ninja.
Hello.
I really need to get around to doing something for Mikon, just having some sort of text that they can read.
Yeah.
I'll probably get my overlays done and bring in my text to speech again. Anyway, if we're going to go for mastery skins we can go for Artifact Command.
Okay. I'm just playing as Huntress. I don't intend on going for anything. I've got her stuff unlocked, so play what you would like. Also, I have captions turned on my end, but I slur my words so badly, it's not going to be very much use.
Yeah, I've seen it. It gets confused a lot.
Yeah. I have a really not accent, just bad speech. That's what happens.
I make
when you
mistakes
teach
all the
dogs.
time as well.
So-
So, if we want to get really powerful, there's one way we can go with Artifact of Command, Sacrifice, and Swarms,
I like
which will double the swarms, half their health though. So there's more creatures spawning at a time, and then the Sacrifice means that we don't get chests, but creatures will drop items because there's more monsters. Because of the swarms, you get more items.
Oh, I never thought to try that. I like sacrifice runs. I think they're silly. They feel more like a roguelike.
Well, if we really want to be crazy, we can go 10% health with Artifact of Glass.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. I told you, I have no goals. I'm just here to play this game with my friends. Oh, I should probably
Alright,
adjust my my stream title and all that.
Oh yeah, if I changed mine? It's one of the things I keep forgetting to do.
Thank you, Dan.
Oh no, did we start? Oh no.
Yeah, I readied up. We can back out though.
Okay. No, that's alright. So fun.
I forgot how to get out of the thing. We're off to a great start here. Hello. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, we're off to a great start here.
I'm dead too. What a spawn. Maybe not the grass, because that usually means that we're going to have to get like stack health.
Yeah, that was an interesting one shot. Oops.
Okay, yeah, let me just check that I... With friends, alright, yes, with friends is fine. That'll do fine.
Artifact of friends.
Artifact of friends. I don't have that one unlocked yet.
But we're all here. We're all here with you.
Alright, we'll have an extra friend come along then. How about that? Okay,
Sacrifice.
I'm ready this time.
Alright. I love that the snipers just like idly. I always want to shoot these weird crystal dragons flying up in the sky. You can
Just
hit them.
hanging out.
They're just hanging out. But I want loot from them.
I want them dead.
I want their leathers.
Oh,
Need
no.
leather, crafting materials.
Yeah. How do I harvest Lemurians? I want Beetle Guard armor.
Might end up with
Palverts.
no, okay, found my chain. Oh well.
Huh?
Trying to get the weak shots.
Ah.
Like,
I don't
get
think
30 headshots.
Yeah, what's the mechanics on the railgunner? I've not actually had a chance to play them.
So you got to zoom in, which does a focus shot, and can hit weak shots on enemies,
Okay.
or weak points on enemies, which usually does a whole lot of damage. Always like a guaranteed crit.
Sounds handy.
If you don't hold right click to zoom in, then your gun has a rapid fire shot, and it homes in.
That sounds handy.
Kind of a low rate of fire, auto fire. So they've also got a little mine they can throw out, which gives them force push, so they can jump away from the spot.
Oh, cool.
And their ultimate is a charged up ultimate laser shot. You have to zoom in to fire it, I think. No, you don't. Okay, that's good.
It's good to know. I might have to try that
But
one.
then, yeah,
All your other things on cooldown.
Yeah, then everything's on cooldown. You have to wait for that to recover. Oh, you shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Spend the money. Spend the money. I'm out of money now.
I am a Huntress and Acrid main primarily. I really like using combos that either use the Glaive or Pestilence. Anything that has a good like spread of damage over large crowds. That's the kind of thing that I really like.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily AoE. Like the crowd control that's available with the Hail of Arrows is nice, but it's so limited in the fact that it stays in one location. Like it's great for bosses, kind of, until you're fighting the Greater Imp.
Oh yeah, Greater Imp.
It's a nice hail of arrows you got there. Would be a shame if somebody just teleported out of there.
I like playing Bandit, of course. The captain, and I do like Monty.
Beetles here. These
Bandit's always
very
fun.
interesting. Yeah, the shotgun seems neat. The one time that I did try Bandit, it felt good, but I also didn't quite like Bandit in Risk of Rain 1, and some of my biases from that still carry over to this one, even though the games are fairly different. I don't know, the Huntress feels like the Huntress did in the first one for me. Although her excuse me, her mobility is much, much higher in this.
You can get good mobility in this.
Whole swarm of constructs. Yeah, I've never used the artifact of swarms. This one's fun.
We like to see the big numbers,
How did you get
so we
four?
play Loader and we play Railgunner.
Big numbers.
Yeah, big crit always does feel good. I like lots of small numbers when I play like RPGs, especially like the first Ragnarok Online. I tend to play speed characters like the assassin or thief with double strike because I love seeing just the rolling damage.
Running up. Climbing. Accumulation.
We got teleporter there.
That's why I like multi with the Ordinale gun.
Yeah.
Stacking bleed, you can get like hundreds and hundreds of stacks of bleed. Numbers get bigger and bigger and bigger. Fix that.
I am not getting items. This is silly.
And that's why the swarms ends up helping out. Imagine if we didn't have swarms, how
Yeah.
few items we'd get. Oh, wait, items.
Hit tab real quick. Take a look at the item counts.
Oh my. Well, there's an item. Maybe you should have those ones.
Why are
Look,
they
there's
all
another item
showing up
down there.
here? Okay, I'm gonna snag just a couple of these, and the rest are good. They're you.
I stacked intimidation. Really.
Ukulele is also handy. Okay. Intimidation. Is that a yellow? Oh, orange. Nice. There's no shops in this version. So the card's useless. Oh, that's weird. I guess it'll be the cube. Cube it is.
Cube.
I love the cube.
Cube.
Have you ever seen the movie The Sphere?
The Sphere. I think that's a. No, I don't
Old
think I have.
horror.
How many unicorns do you have?
With the tire.
22.
Okay, yep, good. Good that you're collecting them. I've got 180. Thereabouts. Oh. They died. They died to death. I suppose Ninja'd be the one to ask. Crit's still worth picking up on Railgunner, right?
Yes.
Good. Yep.
Gotta get your crowbars for your one-shot potential on your weak point shots.
Oops, another one for you.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's doing pretty good for weak shots, but
Let's see.
that changed.
I have to play Railgunner with mouse and keyboard. I can't play them with controller.
I doubt I'd be able to play with the controller for pretty much any character.
Does Requisition still work in this mode?
Requisition?
Mm-hmm.
What is
we'll
it?
try. Shipping request form.
Oh, probably not.
I'll give it a try. It would be interesting if it did.
A learning experience, as they say.
You're gonna try going to the portal?
Yeah, we're probably strong enough. We do have swarms on after all.
Yeah, also, I have 3 greens right now. That's a lot for level 1.
Me too.
Early carried.
Thank you for the assist. What do I want? There. I haven't looked at the whole item list in so long.
You remember what most of them do?
I do. Having played as much as I did to the first one, a lot of that's memorized with funky numbers, but...
Nope,
Umbra.
there's Huntress.
Oh, I'm under attack by myself. Nice. Will I drop good loot? Where am I?
It should be marked somewhere.
Oh, a purple person is attacking. I'm glad I picked up the bear.
There she is. Okay, railgun is out there. With a ship. Oh, they've come up to me.
What's
Launching
going on?
themselves. Whoa, they're about to kill me.
This one. And this one.
Ooh.
And this one. And this one. Wow, that's a lot of greens. All in one spot.
Take that. Done.
Nice. Definitely take on the portal now.
Cautious slug so I can heal up a little bit better.
Good idea. I have no healing items. I should do that. I built myself for war, but not for what comes after. I hear an item drop though. There we go. Leeching seed.
Another reason why I like the multi rapid fire leech seed.
Yeah, just a healing beam. How do you feel about Void Fiend? The ability to like choose what kind of build you want.
I haven't played much of Void Fiend.
Okay.
The weird thing with Void Fiend is that the more reruns that you go through, the less ability you'll have to be in your regular form, because you'll just be overcharged the entire time. And so you're just red always.
I've seen people like tune their build by grabbing specific items to adjust that on the fly, and it is wild to watch. What else we got?
Went over its head. Shot its shoulder. Got its head.
Infusion was a good idea. With the swarm, it's like extra 100 health real quick.
Nice.
One of the things that really kills the Huntress's survivability is just lack of overall health for her.
Last abilities.
Nice shot.
Okay, I think it's complete.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Now I can actually...
oh wow, he did get a bunch of items there.
yeah. Started stacking up.
Big variety. Big variety. Oop. Didn't press shift. Lost myself. Away.
Let's see. Open this. Another pigeon. Oh, I didn't get the first one. Okay. Got another white out here.
Pick up scrap.
Feel tough. Does regenerate do you run across 3D printers?
It's used in the in the blue portal.
Right.
Movement speed's going to be necessary. Oof. Oh, yeah.
I guess
Let's
I'll
get all
take
the
a
items we
scan
got.
out here. See if there's anything we missed.
There were a couple of creatures exploring up this way before, but taken out by some turrets.
Oh, found a coin. Way up here.
Oh, nice.
I think we got everything else. There's a couple of, like, oranges floating around, but I got what I want for orange.
Yeah, I've got another gun, so we can get another yellow item for you. In case you want to get a Titanic No.
Wait, what?
We're on monsoon, so we have reduced healing. The Titanic No counters the reduced healing.
Yeah, but
Brings it back
we
to normal.
would have to fight a Colossus for that.
Well, I got one from the Wandering Vagrants. Because I used a gun on that. But that one.
Oh.
Anyway, ready when you are.
Yep, same. Oh, how? What? They dropped Genesis loot.
They
Titanic
dropped
Girls from
Giggles.
Colossus.
Yeah, when you kill a boss with the gun,
Uh-huh.
they will drop a boss loot item.
I thought it drops theirs specifically. I didn't know they could do any. That's interesting.
Because we have Artifact of Command, the only assured boss item is the Golden Colossus.
Okay.
Where you get his its summon thing.
I don't want to assume the gender of the Golden Colossus.
It's a construct. It is a pronoun.
It's a being.
Yeah. That is still pronouns. I've known a few entities. My ex-wife actually used that pronoun, so... Oh, I am toast. I just got slapped out of the air by this fellow.
Oh my. Yeah, I was almost destroyed by, Blind Fists. I'm dead.
Okay.
How are they doing so much damage? Wow.
I don't know. We did get here at like 18 minutes in.
I might take the Artifact of Vengeance off, because that's going to end up being crazy. They can end up getting to get the same upgrades you get, essentially, and then when you got, like, 100 or high damage mitigation, they get it too.
Thank you, JS Solar Dragon, for the recommendation to try hitting buttons.
Buttons are not real.
Interesting first-time chat. No, I operate all of this by levers only. I'm operating on a purely steampunk apparatus, you see.
Whoops.
Oh my.
What did I say?
I need a pipe organ for a controller.
I did a whoopsie doopsie.
Good.
It's not pressed back by accident. Right. We'll just go with this one again.
Yeah, this was fun.
Good. Very nice.
Mouse? Alright, there we go.
I'm sorry, pipe organ?
Yes.
Pipe organ? What?
Only the flesh.
These big leaders in a church.
Welcome to my stream from St. Lutheran. GTX 9 pipe organ.
Yep.
Is that a missile launcher drone? Nice. Oh, I think it's a gunner. I can't see. Chat's over there. You are just knocking those out.
At least I'm getting some hits here and there.
Let's see. Let's get explosions. And this green over here is you.
Okay, just make sure you get that lunar coin.
Yes, sir.
Captain.
Wait, what? Did you hit that one?
I don't know. I have some range. Like
I don't think you had that much range.
when it bounces from target to target, it can go about halfway across the map here. Ukulele,
Oh, wow.
there it is. Like it can only bounce 3 times, but it can go quite a ways if the targets are just at the right distance. Nice. This one's also you. Yeah.
But it's the
Blind pests. Fun. Love them.
Oh,
my
so
favorite.
much.
You
Burning
ukulele.
poison rats.
But
The ukulele combined with the what is this? The wisp in a jar is like such a good combo.
yeah.
Will of the Wisp.
Chained explosions.
Gotta get the band, gas,
gasoline.
tank. Only
That
fire,
Lemurian
all the time.
stood no chance. Gets blasted by a railgun, then pinned down with 3 arrows. This one. If we can mark it. Bloody hell. Please.
Sorry, you can get.
Why is it refusing to mark? There.
Oh, it's funny. It likes to do the funny.
The hee hee ha ha.
Let's grab at least one Luna coin.
As a treat.
I did have like 186, 184 or something. Last stream I spent a few just getting into the shop.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate when I end up spending them on a level and then never actually making it to the shop. Or accidentally forgetting and just hitting the portal. The teleporter. Oh, hey. Everything explodes.
Or you hit it, but then you really don't have anything to go there with, so it just ends up being a waste.
Yeah.
You did a big jump. That's a missed him.
I don't know why I'm bothering to like explore around out here. Did find the portal, but there's nothing else to really find. Oh wait, there is something to find.
Turrets. Oh, mountain. Oh yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. I love the set detail of like, here's one of those ships just slammed into the face of a mountain.
Yeah.
All according to plan. The GPS knew what it was doing.
Ouch, ouchie, ouchie,
Make
ouchie,
a left
ouchie.
here, now.
Ouchie.
Oh no!
I have done the ouchie.
I guess I'll go for portal then. Yikes. Alright. Go for portal with challenge of mountain on. This'll be interesting.
Hmm. Doesn't look like you're terribly powerful. Could be a problem.
No.
I'm stacking multiple challenges on the mountain. It's possible.
So do I. always a fun challenge to oneself. How much hubris would I like? All of it, all the time.
You need 8 beetle queens stat.
Oh
Wild
no!
vagrants.
Oh no!
How many of them? How many of them? Oh no! Oh no!
It's only a flock of jellyfish. It's fine.
Just a flock of jellyfish, yeah.
They've been
Just
busy.
a little.
No more than you'd normally see in an ocean, anyway.
Nah.
All of those lightning explosions. Yikes!
Hmm. Don't get caught in a single. What would you call that attack?
AOE.
Supernova.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vagrant Supernova.
The Genesis loop.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Huh.
That. I was gonna say another item dropped earlier. Ow! Where are you?
There was some around the portal as well, but good luck getting there.
Yeah, I don't think I can really make use of those at the moment. I'm gonna have to rely.
I stopped moving briefly. It resulted in not fun. Look, there comes the Genesis loop.
Whoa!
Hi, I heard you ordered some jellyfish.
Delicious items.
Oh.
Yep, I saw that one. What are you doing up there?
You decided that they had the high ground. Oh my. Got me surprised at your survivability here.
Take care of that problem.
Beetle.
Wait till you shoot. Come on, thank you. Come on, thank you. Let's go. Aw, I got lit on fire.
Yeah.
It was worth trying. That was very, very fun.
That was the blind best that got me, a mini one.
You should have known. Yeah, those are always a problem.
I thought it was one of burning Lemurian.
Oh my goodness. A lizard?
Speaking of lizards.
Lizard? Was it that lizard? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
On the face by a lava lizard.
Oh, booped on the face by a lava lizard, right.
Face boops.
Alright.
Alright.
How about I? No, keep going, we're gonna. Why not?
Alright. "30 consecutive snipe shots without missing a weak point."
Oh, look, we're with. Okay, normal start. So, did you want another mountain?
Where?
Hello.
Hit the get into a fight button.
I'm surprised that you can actually hit non-critical shots. The M99 on the Wisp.
Have a little bit of thickness to them.
Some air support. Actually, I love the idea of using this. Yep, out of there, get out of there.
Yep.
To relearn how to use Acrid. I've been playing Huntress so long.
What the dog doing?
What that puppy doing? She claw, she bite, she jump.
Earth.
Fly though.
No shortage of weak points to shoot.
Thank you for taking out the air.
No worries. I keep my eyes on the sky.
I know it's
Here.
down to the mountain.
Gonna ask for your items.
Oh, hello.
Hi. It's me, not a Lemurian.
Official title. That's what
Start
it
worrying
says
that
on
the
the
mirrors can start jumping. Well, they do kind of, don't they? What do I want? What do I want? I want
Every time I
that.
try to shoot one. You're really good at the sniper rifle, I gotta say.
Yeah, that's a surprise, considering I'm usually terrible with my aiming.
Portal's up here.
I hear you. Back here.
Let's see. Yeah, we need us some hooves of the goat. Some dogs of the hare.
leg of lamb.
Foot of rabbit. Eye of newt.
Cast a hex.
Ooh. Ooh.
Hello, Lemurian. Hello, Lemurian. Hello, Lemurian. Running along with me, looking over at you for some reason.
It's useful though.
Mary.
Lay Mary. The Mary is here.
Ah,
I need this. Yes. Here. I hate trying to click these things. There's an item there.
Eat missing crit shots. I still don't see how I can miss the weak point on a wisp.
They be sick.
I
Koi.
mean, like, your base damage is not that low. I can one-shot things for 78 damage with my poison.
Oh yeah, it's not what I'm concerned about them surviving, it's just I'm missing the weak point is all.
Oh, I see.
It's still killing him, it's just missing a weak point.
Hit some of your juicy mask.
Okay, I'm just waiting for someone to grow up like a wisp that's got the ass cheeks.
It's gonna be flame ass cheeks and then just a big mask.
Flamin' hot Cheetos.
The spicy flavor.
Hit the rock. Missed the head.
Just cause a plague over here and watch it spread. An item. I want more zoomies. Give me all those zoomies.
You didn't just jump off the edge, did you? Oh, I just fell down. Alright.
Get committed to the S word right in front of your very eyes, Koi.
Really?
We got an orange here? An orange and a white. And a coin.
Money. We're rich.
We're rich.
We're actually getting a lot of lunar coins this run. Well,
Yeah.
today in general. The Iron Jesus is smiling upon us.
Well, what do I want? I want Tesla coil, as always. Not Tesla coil. God, I would love to have Tesla coil right now. The other one, the lesser one.
Imagine.
Ukulele.
The lesser. Nice.
Lesser Tesla.
The Lesla coil. So yeah, there's a green, a white, and a orange down there for you.
Nice.
Wow, I only needed to hit that with a 1. I didn't even need to use the pestilence.
What have we got for? Got movement speed and fire rate. You got a... Oh look. Another lunar coin.
Oh wow.
From my other friends' groups, as a bit of a meme, when one of the other friends, one specific friend, is watching them play or is playing with them, someone usually always gets a red item. Oh, Ninja. I'll do the accumulation of as many of those come up between matches, between.
It's time to break Koi's ties.
I'm waiting for them to bring back ATG3.
Out of stock. Check back later.
Oh yeah, I did put a limit on it so it wasn't just massively spammed out.
Trophy
I
shield.
had my. At least I started that this time. So I don't have too much. I have been out of my squats for quite some time now.
It's a good chain. Alright. I think I'm set to try and take on this challenge of the mountain.
I'm perhaps a little underpowered at the moment.
Okay.
I've only got
4
extra.
mocha.
I mean, we could probably do it.
It's a challenge of the mountain.
What are we at? Medium. Where's the
Over that way.
over there, right?
Chocolate milk. Let's go.
Chocolate milk? Hell yeah.
Chocolate rain.
Big glass jug. It's so good.
A glass jug.
Very
of
nice.
milk.
And
I'm surprised that actually counted as a legitimate reload.
Oh right, there's like a little reload minigame too for that character, isn't there?
Yep.
They really keep you busy with that sniper.
Yep. Keep you coming out of the sniper rifle every time. Really engaging. I try to count each time I do a crit shot, big point shot, but then I keep failing and then like, I'm not going to count anymore.
it's too much. I can't do it.
I can't concentrate if I keep trying to count. I keep missing my shots if I keep counting.
like having to count for bandits consecutive like hot shots or whatever.
Well, that's possible. That's only like 15 shots though.
How much is it for Railgunner?
30.
Down here.
Makes it. It's going to be so rewarding when I finally get it. Will I ever get it? Don't know.
I complete 30 stages to get engineer.
I should probably put fungus on here. I mean, there's
the fungus.
Yeah. Hey, you wanna? I only just look up and realize. All right. I'm noticing a difference in our playstyle here regarding item collection.
Maybe a little bit. We got variety. What'd you get over there?
A white item over there. The accuracy of this jump is struggling because I decided to take the wax quail.
The old slippery jump. That group just decided to not exist anymore.
Chain lightning is really nice.
Always is. Got a friend that really likes the polyutes. Also calls them polyukes with a K instead of T.
Fun.
Oh, hello. That's an orange. Right, there's a few oranges here. No, I've got 5 of them. Now I can start spreading out my other items. What have I got? One of them. Hit 2 of them. Both of them were not crit hits.
What's that horror game that has like the tall fuzzy puppet?
Poppy?
Yeah, Poppy Playtime. Lodia's like extended arms remind me of the little grabby hands you get in that game.
That makes sense. Oh, I am not accurate with this at all.
Yeah, you and me both.
Okay.
Expecting it to pop up higher. Sort of wonder if the if I hit 2 enemies at once, one's not a crit, it still counts as at least one.
Probably, because doesn't it create like an explosive radius where you get a crit?
No. And miss. And miss.
Oh, you got this.
I'll get it.
Yeah,
I've been playing for the last 8 games.
What's the longest you've run in a game of Risk of Rain?
Pretty high. Not into the hundreds, though. I think I managed to make at least 3 cycles.
Have you ever done, before they patched it, the sacrifice runs in, what is that place called? The place where Acrid gets found. The Void.
The Void, the Simulacrum, isn't it?
Well, I guess, yeah, now you get Acrid in the Simulacrum, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah, I forgot that they changed that with the Void stuff. Because I played this when it was still, like, brand new.
No, I've only played maybe 1 or 2 rounds of the Simulacrum.
I did sacrifice runs in the Void, like you just go to the blue shop, go down to the Void, and it was before they had quite the same kind of physics set up for how it damages you to be down there.
The Void version of the Bustling Fungus, the Weeping Fungus I think it is, I have got to the point where I just survive in the Void.
Oh, nice.
With sacrifice. I think that was one of the tactics eventually, because the plan was pretty crazy in there. But yeah, being to the point of being overpowered and just constantly getting items. To the point that it starts lagging now because there are so many items and so many effects and numbers.
Absolutely a thing.
All good fun. So easy you stopping there, picking an item up. Yeah, I should grab that just to help out. I do happen to need to stop, but at least have some healing to help out.
Punches are scary now. Just walk up and slap a Lemurian.
Oh, you got was it Ghost Time now? Was it
Bandolier?
Bandolier, right. Ghost Time's the one for refresh skills, wasn't it?
Bandolier refreshes skills when you pick up the box.
Oh, right.
Oh. What do we got here?
Alright, ready when you are. Boom.
Okay.
Boss.
Let's go.
Okay then, I'm going over here.
Lemurian can just fly.
Fly me to the moon.
Let me play among the stars.
We're at
Let
different
me
times.
know what love is like on Jupiter or
Jupiter and Mars.
I cannot wait until somebody figures out how to do synchronous virtual karaoke.
Just gonna scream at each other on VR chat. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I used to run. Whoa! I forgot that was a thing. Right.
Let me go get another one. Don't kill them all. Let me get another one. There's 4 over here, so we can get like 4 boss items.
Oh, I guess.
Wait, what?
Go...
Did you, what?
Huh?
Did you have one as well? Did you?
I did.
Well, More. But no, I'll get it. I'm
To
done.
wait for it to refresh, don't I?
Yep.
Alright.
You can pick it up there.
I got the neural.
I just need to put more things. Come back. Come back.
I'm back.
Come back. Come back. Come back. I'm gonna
here.
quickly.
What? I'm down on the ground with you. I can clear the map in a single jump.
What are they taking damage from?
My pestilence.
What?
Ahoy.
I gave you the Rona.
I grabbed the wrong thing. There we go. This is really
There's
silly.
still 4 of them.
I'm enjoying it.
Nice. Very nice.
When laser go boom.
Okay, that killed it. Wing, wing.
Why is it not... Do I not have the item? I do. Floating around next to me. Why is it not available yet? Oh, I used a hoy, that's why.
Greasy Jarvie has arrived.
Yay!
Hello, Greasy.
There we go. Woo! Hello, hello, hello.
Another one did.
This one. So many angry Lemurians. There's so many items on the ground.
Yeah. Got the enemies as
red.
well. We got a red?
There's a
Wow.
red over here. I'm not grabbing it. We're waiting until we're all done with this. That's pretty cool.
I didn't have another one, so I couldn't.
I have
do
the
it.
last one. Got it.
Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice.
I'm going to want a Genesis loop. And... Little Disciples run? Yeah, good.
I have another one. Mired Urn. How's your day there, Greasy?
Alright. guess I want this. And this.
Oh, there's items everywhere.
Do you want the
you
yellow
get this one.
or the red?
You get the red.
Okay. There's an
And-
extra yellow inside the queens.
Inside the queens.
Okay.
I
I'm certain
grabbed
there's more.
4. I've grabbed 4 yellow so far.
No,
I grabbed 3.
I grabbed
Red.
3 and a red though, so yeah. The red.
Genesis was the one top right, wasn't it? Was
I
it?
have one that's a Genesis loop.
Oh, that's
I
right. I
think-
can actually look at you. Okay, that one. I'll do that.
Double check if
there's
your items
3
around here.
3 more greens.
Oh, nice. I'll jump back up there. Super lizard, go zoom.
Super Lizard go zoom. Passed the first course of my sailing license. Nice.
A sailing license? That's awesome.
Mike? Okay, good. And that.
I guess, yeah.
I could have got my boat license back in my high school years, but I didn't have the money to get the license. Oh, that's right. I got those 5 squats. Don't want to forget them. 1,
5 squats.
3, 4.
Are we doing squats?
I have a redeem for squats or weight lifts or.
Every time that you finish a round?
No, it's a redeem just on my screen.
Oh, okay.
It was every
Or-
time you
or-
finished a round. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, I'll do it. I'll join in on that. So, I'm also going to buy this 54-leaf clover.
Luck
Which-
gamers?
Oh, wait. Never mind, I'm grabbing ceremonial knife.
Pretty good.
Shall I grab my stuff before you send us off?
What's up?
Helen, did you trade in some greens, did you?
Mm-hmm. Because
See.
Command on Red allows you to do some really silly stuff in here.
Oh yeah.
No, I
Since
need
this
to
is
do
already
more
like
squats. Whoa. 5 in a row is a good quantity in the middle of a Risk of Rain game. I like this. New meta unlocked.
I used to do the squats back ages ago, just following along with the squat redeems on Aki's stream. And then they added up quite well, and I got to the point of doing a good 100 or so easily a day.
Oh wow.
And then it fell off. I stopped.
Yeah.
I stopped doing them for some reason, and never really picked it up again.
Well, it was a
I'm
good
ready.
time to
Oh,
start.
here we are.
Here we are, starting again.
Here we are starting again. Yes. That's why I also needed. That's why I brought it in with the weight lifts as well. So if I feel like I'm doing too many squats, I can just go pick up my weights.
That's smart. The wettest of lands.
I've become too powerful.
This isn't even our final form.
Kori's gonna grow legs as well as fins. Take over the world.
Actually, very recently I found a small box that had a few mementos. And apparently I came third in a swimming competition.
Wow.
Something like that. And I didn't realise I actually had the possibility of being good enough to get third in a high, it was a primary school, I think, actually. No, it was a high school. I got third. I don't know how legitimate it was, but it's got my name on it. That was hello. It's
That's really cool.
we touched Gup.
Quite the battle going on over here. Oh, I'm being collapsed. I am being collapsed. I am looping the Genesis and I'm being collapsed.
Don't do that. Better not do that. Don't want you dying so soon.
Alright. I can pestilence once more.
Look at Void Touch Gup.
Void touched everything over here. I'm having to get zippy with it.
Oh my.
There's also
the
Void Cop.
Reaper.
Yeah.
The Void Cop. Like it.
That's what they are. Oh no.
There's another one.
Oh, get me out, get me out. Okay, cool. Yes, we're good.
Yep. Oh, there's a Wandering Vagrant.
Where? Alright, I
It was over by you.
Oh.
So there's one Void Vagrant.
Behind you. Jump scare.
When you least expect it.
I need to set up with a sound so I know it plays. It's redeemed.
Yeah. I need to... I actually want to write to a specific musician and ask her permission to use a sound from one of her tracks as my sub alert, because it's currently my favorite sound and will probably remain as such for quite some time.
It's not the Australian crossing button sound, is it?
What?
In Australia. In Australia we have in Australia we have a button. Get this. A button for crosswalks, and when you press the button, it beeps in a specific way. And was it Billie Eilish? One of their songs used that for like a drumming beat.
Huh. Yeah, no, that's... I didn't know anything about that.
I'll have to look up the clip and send that to you.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's the intro to the Forever Field Trip by Darius and Ratin. I will send a link, but it's some of that the trip music I listen to.
Red Rider, you get it, I get it.
I already have a red.
Alright.
Laser scope, very nice.
Lasers everywhere.
Should put...
It's like that area in Breath of the Wild with all the Guardians, just lasers.
I really need to play that one.
You're gonna play the new one?
You gonna play that first before Tears of the Kingdom?
I mean, I don't even own a Switch. My partner does. I would have to borrow it from them.
Or my streaming come here, darling. I need it.
I mean, they're the ones that got me Diablo 4 with the early release, so I could be part of the first wave of people putting content out for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you got two bands? No.
Ton of players to reach top level so you get put on their statue thing.
I have zero interest in that, and more people can go ahead and do that all they'd like. In my case, Like, I'm watching as a number of people, like, in the surrounding community from me are doing, speed runs, and they're, like, beating the game within days of it coming out during early access. It's not even, like, officially out yet. And I'm instead taking about 5 hours to go through roughly an hour's worth of story-written content because I'm busy looking at every brick and tile in the game. It all matters to me in a very silly way.
It's more important. Wouldn't understand.
But the thing is, I'm trying to help other people understand. I want to sit there and read the stories out loud because that's kind of the stuff that I do. I really like story-driven games where the point is less about, like, how fast can you gun through a million enemies? And this is cool. I love this, like, first-person Dynasty Warrior, third-person Dynasty Warrior stuff. But I also love something where it's like a choose-your-own adventure. Trying to think, like,
the choose-your-own adventure story.
What was it? I think that the last time I played, like, a major run-and-gun looter-shooter that I legitimately enjoyed was probably Borderlands 2. I'm looking forward to when we finally try doing that one together.
Yeah. I think Nick is pretty excited for that.
Yeah.
I also have that game. I'm just not with my normal computer right now.
Yes, I too enjoy the video games. Glowdog. I'm not too fond of the Glowdog in this game mode.
Okay.
Yeah, in this mod. Let me go there if you really want to go there.
I just hit a button.
See item, press button.
Exactly. Puppy mode engaged.
Ah, okay. That's what it is. Okay.
Continues acquiring things that give me the zoomies.
So you need to try to find the thing that does the thing. The thing? You know the thing?
Yeah, the thing. Let me jump up into the air and take a scan around. Found it. It's over this way. Yeah, let me just mark myself real quick. Why is it doing that?
Wasn't quite the thing I was looking for, but...
TSW Gaming wants to attack TSW Gaming. Yeah, same.
Can we get the top? It's probably not at the top, is it?
I have no idea what's on the top, actually. Let me see. On the thing.
It's always on top.
Wee. Terribly timed. Where are the other places it can be? The
What?
shrine.
The blue portal?
Yeah.
I got it.
Oh, okay. Where was it?
Up there.
What was up there? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we did too. Nice. Have you got any... You haven't got any crowbars? It ends up being a real carry if you end up like 100 crowbars with the ceremony dagger.
Oh, I should do that. Alright. I love when it's the dual colors.
I guess wherever you are.
Right. Winging.
Right. What are we doing? No laser. there? There's everything. Cool. Oh, okay. This is interesting. If it's distinction.
Oh, you got one of the orbs?
Yeah.
The orbs are neat. So now you are fire aspect.
Now I am fire. Have you picked it up before? Do you know?
I picked up the light aspect before. It turns you into light elemental.
In that case, if I put this back down here, you can grab it, pick it up, and it can be as well.
Sure.
It's right there.
Mind Stalks with Pestilence is a fun mixture.
Oh yeah. Mind Stalks was a good one. Ah, that's the cooldown one, isn't it?
Yeah, infinite use of your skills at attack speed, which reminds me I want to increase my attack speed too.
Oh, you got them. Empathy cores.
Let's see. Oh, what's that? Is that a red? Oh,
that's
fire.
the
cool.
The thing, yeah. The thing that is the thing.
Aspect of fire. Alright.
Bringing a thing.
What do we got here? I need to start looking for better healing options for myself. I'm just gonna have to keep using Leeching Seed as my primary form, because I'm getting like tick damage on everything, and that's giving me bursts of healing. Okay, let's see if there's any. There's another item there.
I got a bustling fungus, so I got a lot of that.
Yeah. Oh, and you were saying crowbars with the ceremonial knife.
Yeah.
Let's see. Not seeing.
Oh, there's two items here.
Oh, you found 2-1? Nice.
2 lights. Boost that crowbars if you want.
Sure.
It's now picked up 11 crowbars.
I have 1. I love how zippy Acrid gets. Crowbar and crowbar.
I saw you over here, and then I got over here, and then I saw you on the other side of the map, and I'm like, okay.
Blue portal?
Blue portal.
Blortle.
More reds. I can get one more red anyway. Blortle.
A jump slam item.
Jump
Yeah.
slap.
Getting jump slam. Oh, I see what you're saying. I wonder if I could use that to interrupt the jump slam that's built into Acrid. Wrong button.
High gravity. When hello gravity. When gravity high.
Greetings. Grava greets.
Ages.
Oh, nice. Let's see. I lose some things. Now I get to pick a thing. A cyber skull. The other thing that cuts back. Oh, brilliant behemoth. Everything becomes explosive.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good, especially the pestilence. Alright. Good to go.
There we go. Let's see if I got what succeed. 2.
I see I received a message.
Oh yeah?
Yeah?
Free redeem.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, good when you are.
Bungee.
Bungee cord, bungee cord.
Oh my!
Oh hey.
Just the amount of everything going on over there. Everything's so close.
Mm-hmm.
So many
Wow,
void-tashed
hurt.
enemies over there.
Yeah, that was way more than I was ready for.
Oh, there goes one of your cores.
It'll be back.
What's left? What is left?
Hermit crabs.
Okay, void seed's done.
Nice.
Good. We don't have crabs here, do we?
Void cell. Void potential.
Void cradle.
Wungus. Or Rungus. A good one.
What do we got? What do we got? Oh, you got one. Okay, cool. Cool. You want to get the needle stick from that one?
What's that?
Did you want to get the needle tape for the dot damage?
Nope. I prefer to have standard bleed. I don't even have bleed at all. Oh, equipment drone. I can make a burning equipment drone that's really funny. Oh.
More movement speed. Oh, you got them. In that case, I will grab. More fungus. The fungus among us.
I keep jumping way too far. Oh, okay. Thanks.
I thought you ran off, and otherwise I was like, okay, I'll just grab these ones while we're over here.
I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, did you grab it?
No, yeah, you opened it up and I was standing on top of it, so it just went to me.
I saw you burning trails, like, oh, Lemurian, burning Lemurian.
Asthma shrimp.
Oh, we got a portable Ahoy.
Let's see. Over here. See if there's anything fun. Any guns? Any turrets? Any drones?
Nope.
I stand
You said
upon the
portable
world
Ahoy.
stone. Portal appears to be over there.
What a focus crystal. And a focus crystal.
Go, get to go. Portal. Where's the blue thing though? I know where I can get one at all times. It's always over here. I can fly.
Fly me to the other side of the map. Let me see what items are over there. Found it.
There you are. Oh, dang. I found this one right here.
Oh, there's one over there too.
Yep. It's like way hidden off the edge of the map. You have to go way outside boundaries to get to it. But it's the one that's always here, no matter what.
Nice.
These are all yours. You got all these kills. I only just showed up here.
I didn't realize there were more items. I didn't kill it.
More magazine.
Oh my. Oop. Something spawned, turn around, get hit twice, and it's just dying, and I got a bunch of experience orbs flying towards.
You just left a red behind.
Oh my. Greasy Charlie is going away. Farewell, Greasy.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Good night. More crit bars. More explosions.
Water.
Boing. Nope. That's weird.
Okay. I'm gonna head over to this portal here. What on earth? What did you just do?
I ran between the enemies and unstable Tesla coil.
Oh. I just watched a bunch of numbers show up around you.
This one doing numbers.
Me when the numbers. Wait, where was the portal? It was up this way, right?
Over that way. Steals your white item. Turns it into a crowbar. Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Are you prepared? Just begin now. I completely missed it.
What?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Shot the portal.
Well, I did die in a hilarious pose. This is true. Puppy got vaporized.
Oh no. Wait, there's another claim Dream Strider? Where? Where are you? Over there. Just doing the suck.
When did it not?
There's another one still? Oh, okay.
Get the fucking koi.
Pair 'em up. You got this.
Wait, what? Oh, okay, there it is. So many items around.
While you are doing this, I'm gonna end up putting myself on a break probably. Let's see.
Okay.
You've actually almost got this one done, so I'll wait until you're done here because this is wild to watch. But after this level, I'm probably gonna want to run to the restroom.
Okay. If you want to do that, I'll quickly round up the items around and go into the blue portal.
Alright, that works for me. I will be right back.
Did we get a third hope?
Get a third what?
Hope feather.
I had two in the first place.
No, I'm saying, should I get a third feather?
Who do you get another? Oh. The answer is always yes.
More jumpy.
More jumpy, hoppy, jumpy. Fancy boingo. No, I couldn't get the item. Oh well.
Risk Rain does not run as well on the Switch as it does on anything else.
No, don't let it go the wrong hole. Good me. Oh my goodness. Whoopsie dipsy. I'm not terribly surprised that it doesn't run too well on the Switch.
Got a lot of frame tear issues.
Framed it. Oh no, that is bad. That is not a great. And I suppose I'll take myself a moment while we wait for Mrs. Wife.
Mrs. Wife. What am I supposed to do for all these people watching tap dance?
If you could tap dance, that would be quite amusing, entertaining.
Yeah.
This has like 2 laser scopes on it. Does it normally have a laser scope on it already?
It's a big rectangle.
I mean, there's a laser scope on the top and a laser scope on the bottom. It's like one is obviously from the item. Slightly different reds too. It's interesting.
Compliment today on the big model that I made. I was super excited that a random person from a server that I posted it on was like, "Hey, that shit's dope. Good job."
Very nice. You'll have to show me what you did.
Yeah, I want to see.
Let me see. I think I put it in Koi stuff.
I need to look.
First will be This the big Rex eye.
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah. That one. Very nice. Yes, that was really well done. That was really well done.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
I was stressed about it for a long time, so I'm excited it came out well.
Why would you be stressed about that? That is amazing.
The day before I was supposed to use it in the D&D game I was playing, it fell over and the arm snapped off.
Oh no.
And so I was very stressed.
I see.
But some quick resin glue and it was fine. A 4th Hopu feather! Let's go!
Let's go.
Alright, let me look. Now that I'm also here. My apologies for the delay.
Shout out to TheSandWife.
There you go. Be comfortable.
Do I want it?
To
No,
be comfortable.
I don't actually have the items to trade in for this, so I will continue onward.
In that case,
There's a helicopter flying through my neighborhood.
I cannot do the killing.
Did you just kill him?
No, I failed to kill him.
Can you kill him?
Yeah, currently no.
Huh.
Gonna one-shot him.
I need more crew bars. I
That's
also need to not
wild.
fall down and die. Anyway, ready? Next level? Let's go! So what is this down here? There's an item down there or something.
There's a journal entry for the bazaar.
Oh, okay. Also, I just killed a boss. No, wait. Is that a boss? Was it? Oh, hello!
Void
Hello.
Vagrants. Void Vagrants. That's a new one for me.
Void Vagrant. Oh my.
Void jelly.
Hey, Busta.
Oh, well.
Oh my. I gotta move. I'm dead. I don't even know it took me out.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we will, but dang.
Oh, wait, no. Maybe we won't. If I survive.
Find out. He's doing himself this early on.
That's yours.
Aw, that lovely emote's really cute.
It's a lovely emote. I didn't realize it was lovely cute mute. What you talking about? I chat. Hello, Jufa.
What's sad is, like, I don't see enough of a lot of these other streamers' channels to actually know that anybody else says that kind of stuff. That's just me being me.
What do I get? Oh, polygoon. Nice. Oh, I gotta press E. I need to press E. What is this? Newly hatched Zoya?
What is that?
Oh, that's probably. Let me just see what.
You're
Currently with allies from the. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah.
I have just turned this into a fun game playthrough. I just turned this into a fun.
Uh-huh. A
Are
fun
you prepared?
constantly stay off the ground playthrough, yeah. A fun never touch the ground playthrough.
Oh, They just keep spawning.
Mm-hmm. You already have 6 creatures. Oh, that's right. It summons up to the number that you have, so fun.
All right.
Instantly vaporize everything nearby.
Oh no. Well, let's have some fun. Let's get a big eyeball then.
Get a big eyeball. Oh, the other ally
Yes.
worship unit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what's currently summoned.
Yes, correct. That is correct. Very much correct.
But what if 2?
Did I kill the other one, did it?
If only you could challenge the mountain, the ally worship unit. Can you imagine just getting like 12 reds in a single fight?
Delicious.
Wait a minute. How did I already have reds over there?
They do still drop, and there was a bunch of corrupted vagrants. Nice.
Let's get extra luck
Extra.
and more of them. Extra instant kill everything.
Wow.
Okay.
That is a lot of crowbars.
I'm up to 29, 30. Ooh, we're getting a bit of buzzing going there. Come on.
What is that?
Wasn't expecting that kind of buzzing.
Oh, okay. I'll just unplug that. To be honest.
That was the...
I need to work on my shoulders. They've been killing me.
What's damage? What's damage? I didn't see where the portal was. Come on.
For Koi to become the IRL version of my railgunner meme.
What?
It's the railgunner that has like 150 crowbar. They have, like,
My day, there was no railgunner. Those were Huntress memes.
Right, more crowbars.
I want air-to-ground missile 3, and I want chef.
Oh, that's what ATG means. Oh wow, that just died. It's spawned, it died. It spawned, it died.
It's telling me my battery is low. Keep scratching it. Exit the hall and turn into a lurker again.
Oh no. The microphone seems to be buzzing a bit there, Ninja.
Yeah, it's falling apart. Sorry. I'm gonna skedaddle. It was fun hanging out. I'll be watching.
It's a pleasure to have you around.
Good luck.
See you
Thank
around.
you. Love you.
Love you too.
Cuties.
No, you. I mean, and you.
This is a normal experience for me in Risk of Rain, is watching somebody zip around at Mach 2 because I keep getting folded in half by everything that I run into.
Don't worry. I've got enough crowbars now with ceremonial daggers that everything should be quick to die. Oh, we didn't get four. That's okay.
Oh well. I had my break. My
Sad
break.
Saggy. Saggy.
Hello, hello. I would.
You would.
Say interesting things in chat, but cannot currently try and survive. Oh,
Trying-
hello, lag.
Trying
hi.
to frame rate.
Yeah, what happened there?
Whatever it took to collapse the void seed. Numbers happened. I
Numbers.
think this is going to have to be we go to the next level
I think so.
normally. Because I'm not sure how much I can handle. If we can go for more of a loop, it's going to have it's going to be every time.
Yeah,
Every time I kill a group.
I'm gonna start stacking teddy bears because I need that chance to dodge.
Got any of these yet? I've got grandparents. Where? Are they still alive?
They're over here. Yeah.
That really didn't do too much damage. Okay, it's down. No more grandparent.
Way too powerful. Up to yellow. What shall I do? Do this one.
Oh, that's the Aegis. I was wondering what the chime was happening around me. It's the Aegis, I think,
okay.
healing. Or something like that.
Did you know you can land on the floating rocks up there? Like way up there?
That one,
Uh-huh. If you have
I don't have
enough
enough
food
jump to be able
feathers.
to do that.
Yeah.
We're right back, stacking 20 hopper feathers.
I've almost got the ability to get there with just a couple leaps, but I would have to have something to bounce off of on the way up.
How about this one? You probably want something from this void cradle.
How was that my first instance of bustling fungus? Holy, what?
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
This one has the void's end flame and the ray gun.
Flame good.
Whoa!
Over there.
I'm burning.
On the way. Thank you. Flame good.
Flame burning. So, Satagi, how are you doing tonight? They are present. They are here.
I exist.
Existence is existence.
Existence is futile.
Cats are okay. That's good. Your item? My item.
I guess so. Our item. Time to go start a fight.
As kiddies use the treadmill more on their own at all. We don't need to make one of those treadmills. Cat treadmills. Cat.
Those things are cool.
I'm thinking what I'd use for the cylinder is probably make one up of my own. Numbers. Oh my, it's the gups.
And they're gone.
When you get like more than one gut, and then it's just like
Chain explosion.
whoa, what is going on?
Void sent flame.
I think my ceremony of daggers were going. Your kitchen.
Let them cook.
Let him cook.
Oh wow.
Are the cats using the treadmill more? Was the question. On their own. Sagi. Probably should have done that. Needs a little bit. Going and taking a few steps more now then. That's nice. That's good to see. Ready when you are.
Same. I think. Red whip. Let's further increase our top speed. Oh no. Directly off the ledge.
Nice.
It's over here, I want to say. Yep. Where are you? Oh, you're over there. Okay. Do I point? What is that? The lines of the planet. No, we want to go to the moon.
Yeah. We do not want to go back to the planet. Who knows if we can survive. Sort of frame rate. And they're dead! Oh. Goodness me.
Wow.
About those hoppy feathers.
I should grab a few. Hello, Lemurians. Goodbye, Lemurians.
This is going to be so overpowered.
Yeah,
That's right.
We're gonna
Gonna
have
be
to
a
have
boy.
a delightful fight with Mithrix.
I'm sure 1 or 2 shots will be fine. We'll be fine. I'm surprised neither of us have been able to be caught in a void
Yeah,
death.
none of our void creatures seem to be getting killed.
Imagine that.
Yeah, usually I'm seeing them getting destroyed non-stop, but... Oh wow, there are items everywhere, aren't there?
There are. Oh. Hey, the orange one's up here.
I've got the sphere still.
Sphere? Oh yeah,
The
that's
fire aspect of fire.
fine. That's fine. I've got the eccentric phase, so if you really want to, we can just go straight up the top.
Yeah, let's go.
Give the pillars.
It's so
There's
weird that
nothing
the
down here.
music just stops. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot of anything else out here. I think we kind of got it all. See a white over here.
Okay, ready.
Yep, ready. Oh yeah, gravity's different here.
I'm going to use the vase and set up a zip line. No, literally, I did. Look at me. I'm flying.
You are flying. How did you...
Zoom.
What? Oh, I see.
But I could have managed to jump up here too.
I was kind of wondering if I could. Alright, ready when you are.
Let's go. The weather doesn't immediately like kill you. I'm surprised that didn't hit me.
Why is there a challenge of the mountain with Mithrix going on?
Good question. I think it's just we've got
Multi-Mithrix.
the swarm. So that's why.
Oh, that's why.
So we got the brothers.
Kind of. Mithrix and Mithrix instead of Providence.
Mithrix had a twin. That was himself.
Mithrix's other evil twin brother, Mithrix.
Oh, now he's mad. I think he's angry. I think his mate's sort of mad. Okay, I think that got that one.
Lunar Chimera.
Okay.
Did Mithrix just get void celled?
I think he did. That's what I thought I saw.
Yeah.
I'm getting up top. I can try to get a good shot at him. Ouch. Ouch. There you are. Okay.
Keep chasing me into the air.
Okay.
Did it. This real quick. Oh no. So much. Mithrix brother.
Oh, ouch.
A lot of void entities.
Where is he?
Moon
Okay.
detonation. Yeah,
Three.
he got void celled again. That's amazing.
Did he really?
Like a bunch of them in a pack that time.
Oh, there were quite a few of them around him. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't such a bad thing that I picked up that. What was it? The newly hatched Zoya. Just saying, just launch yourself inside it. Hilarious.
All in one.
Yeah, they're just going to keep dying over and over with the
Love it.
upgrades we've got. And all the void attacks are just being blocked.
This is weird. Should I go
the
pet the
void
frog?
entities are being taken to the void. And then they cause their own void. So should you get... You want to do the frog?
I'm gonna go see if I can pet the frog. See if I can.
Pet the frog.
Oh, whoa. I've never been in here after the destruction.
Gonna pet the frog. May as well keep petting it. Pet it and pet it, pet it, pet it, pet it, pet it, pet it.
Pet it, pet it, pet it. Pet it, pet it, pet it. It's the frog. You pet 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 the frog. Aha! Portal. Signal Portalis.
We have been taken by the void.
Somewhere else. We've gone out there. The planetarium.
Planetarium.
Two of them! Ubu big steppies.
What? Still not a million damage. Probably need boss damage for it, don't I? More of the bullets.
Never thought I would stand on top of the voidling like this.
Almost killed one of them. Okay, I think we did kill one of them.
Nice.
There we go. Wait, what is happening with that one?
I'm on top of it.
It seems confused.
Yeah, it can't aim. It's trying to aim at me. It can't. Oh. Something happened.
It is done.
It is done. I also received a
It is
notification.
done.
Voidling.
Through the portal.
I know. That's what it was. Thank you, Edaman. Posture check and hydrate. I will do so. We are right at the end of the game, though, so let me finish up what we're doing here. Oh, these are neat little zones. This is new. Wasn't like this before. Also, I'm healing inside the void. This is great.
Didn't adjust. Some of these sentry eyes.
Oh, I might go crunch. I might go crunch. I might go crunch. How did I survive that?
You're an awesome gamer, that's how.
The
Clear.
lighthouses are active.
At least we know the ships aren't going to crash into the shores.
No, they crashed into the mountainside at the beginning of the game. Did I get vaporized? I've been detained.
Yeah, that's the other thing about them. They end up doing this big suck.
That was yesterday.
What? You.
Oh. Now I can actually do my posture check and hydrate.
Broken. Oh my. Must keep moving. So much incoming damage.
Introducing the new HTC Voidling Lighthouse. Completely vaporize your VR setup.
Now, there's only one of them left. I'm not going to take too much damage anymore.
A bit wrong.
Done.
Nice.
Alright. Now where do I
Very
go?
nice. I have no idea.
to exit the deep void. There it is. Portal?
Portal? Hunger. Hunger.
Yay! Rogue and the Mastery.
Very nice.
I've done the game and move.
You've mastered.
Right.
Fate unknown. You've been detained. Await your sentence at the end of time.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, right. I have to join in for squats.
5,
Now, let me go.
7, 8, 9, 10.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
An hour and a half.
I'm a little too wobbly for this. 9.
Oh no.
There. I can only imagine what that would look like if I had my camera facing me. Alright.
At some point, I want to be able to bring in doing sign language again. I think I need something like a TBI tracker and that other thing I saw recently that does hand tracking.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I forgot the name of it. I should have written it down. Oh well. So, do we want to go for another bit of fun?
In this, mayhap not. I'm trying to think what else we have in common on Steam. Let me go look at that. There's a certain point where I do hit my limit. View profile.
I do have things like
oh, filter to games you both own. VR chat.
only my VR was working. Last.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Oh, you also have Edge of Space, and you played that for more than just a couple minutes. That's interesting.
Which game?
Edge of Space. It was a Starbound clone when Starbound was still like not even a thing yet.
Yes,
Magic.
yes, I did play a little bit of that. Though it was a little bit eh.
Yeah.
I did spend a bit of time working on it, and so reworked it a few times. Water!
You also have Defense Grid. I should also drink water.
But I don't have Defense Grid installed.
Isn't it single player anyways? It's just a tower defense game.
I think there was some multiplayer,
Hmm.
but I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
I can really see the part where you were also a Humblebundle customer. Holy cow. Oh, you have Kingdom 2 crowns. Interesting.
2 crowns. I mean, I did have like 580 games on Steam.
And
547.
a lot of these are in the same order as they show up in my library, and a lot of them are ones that like I picked up in a bundle and I don't remember ever really playing. Like the whole Arma pack. I have all of the Arma ones, and I'm like, I don't even play this kind of game. Why do I own this? Lost Planet 2, Lost Planet Extreme Condition, Overlord,
Okay.
Overlord Raising Hell, Overlord 2. I remember that being a bundle. Like, wait, is that the whole? That's all? Oh. I guess out of these, Borderlands 2, that other one I just mentioned before. Kingdom 2 Crowns. Other than that, not really ones that I would either do on stream or aren't multiplayer, so... I wish there was more to Hammer Watch than there is.
Watch. Having fun?
It's a little roguelike that plays kind of like Risk of Rain 1, but more arcadey, and got picked up by the Yogs cast after initial production.
Ah. Yo, Yogs. Well,
I think I may end up actually backing it out
Deep
of this.
Rock.
Deep Rock. I don't think I own that one. Something over here.
Oh, there's a hidden achievement. I did recently get Carpool on Omega Ultima's stream.
What is carpool?
It's where you ride a silicate harvester with 3 other dwarves and kill 5 enemies each without leaving the silicate harvester. It's an achievement in Deep Rock Galactic.
Ah, okay. Grab myself. Wow. I'm in transparency mode.
Hooray, transparency.
It's weird because, like, it even happens with the red, and all of my stuff is set to gray, so... Like, I would expect it in my hair. Like, the midpoint between green and purple is pretty gray. But it's showing up in the red, even.
I did remember to suddenly check Chadzagi's notification, and there's quite a significant problem with that kitchen. That's not good.
And that you have my attention.
It was a message they sent to me directly.
Oh, gotcha.
It's not good.
Ooh.
That's potentially a new oven, a new microwave, and...
Oh, wow. They lose a pressure cooker or something?
I'm not quite sure. But it was something on their oven, and it went upwards as well.
That
microwave
sounds like
is well, it looks like it's melting. It's a huge something that's on that countertop. That's not good. Yes.
Open image in new tab. Here we go.
That was their air fryer. Oh,
air
no.
fryer. I was gonna say, because I've seen pressure cookers do this kind of thing.
I should add a image existing group. Oh, no, not that one. That's asset for cube VR. We just remove that one. And maybe I'll just use one of my BRBs.
Honestly,
Just so I have
probably hitting the end of my my energy for streaming for the evening. I could easily hang out and chat, but as far as being on camera, I might have to call it for the night.
Oh my, that is also not a functioning oven.
Oh yeah, like based on your description, that was kind of what I was thinking. Because like I've seen pictures of when there's like a microwave above the oven and a pressure cooker goes off, and it's like somebody set off a grenade. It's like the only way to really put it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, kaboom. Well, I might send the BRB image down further underneath everything. Yeah, at the bottom. Fish.
This is different. Just like I never sit in chat mode here. Let me at least adjust that. Usually I'm like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and it's I never give myself a moment to just breathe.
Yeah, I'll just take a quick moment.
Yeah. I'm trying to like. So I'm expecting tomorrow I'm probably going to be doing more Diablo stream stuff, and I know that for a lot of folks that's going to be official launch day, so I'm probably going to get drowned out. I won't be surprised if a lot of other folks are either busy watching other people stream that are more experienced at streaming or have a better idea of what they're doing, or they themselves are going to go play that game because it's a fun game and I highly recommend it. That being said, like I'm enjoying my slow playthrough and looking at everything in detail and getting a chance to like talk about some of the assets that we see and kind of cross-referencing like bits and pieces of the story as we go. But I don't know. Maybe I want to do more variety stream stuff. Like I was really enjoying doing the Kingdom 2 Crowns Challenge Islands. I just kind of got to a point where like I was killing 5 hours at a whack playing that on my solo stuff. So
playing slower and actually talking about the lore and stuff is probably going to be a bit of a draw, to be honest.
Like it's been fun with Diablo. I want to do the same thing with a lot more RPGs. The ones that I at least like know anything about the production stuff or any of the background information, because like I love that insider look when I get to hear from people that do have like a special interest in something. One of my close friends is a longtime fan of like the Persona series and Shin Megami Tensei. I know nothing about them aside from what she's told me, and I'm still learning. There's bloody hell, there's a lot of those games out there. Let's see, there was some other stuff. I also want to do more EV Nova. I might start another run of that sometime soon. Escape Velocity Nova. It's a choose your own adventure. It was the one that Nico and I were talking about the other day. I can send you information on how to get yourself a copy. The thing I really like about it is like you can just kind of take off in any given direction and go do stuff, and eventually you'll get like roped into a story even if you're not looking for one. And that kind of works for me because it gives a sense of true randomness in space. But I have the I have like enough background in having played the game and like unfortunately, knowledge of the pre-existing storylines, the chances of things being able to happen in the maps, that it makes it where it's no longer like anything new to me. It's just I want other people to be able to experience that story, and reading it out loud is a way for me to go about that. Plus, it's just been a good way for me to experiment with making different voices, because that's not something I was ever really good at before. And since having started messing with it, like, I'm obviously still not comfortable, but the variety is getting like more varied.
Yeah, takes a bit to be able to come up with the variation in speech. What I need? What are my daily tasks? 5 animals, bugs, 6 shells. Easy stuff. So I'm playing Dinkum.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to fix that. Who wanted that? Spinifex Tufts. That was John. That's easy enough. I should have some.
That's what Dinkum is. I knew I recognized the name, I just couldn't remember what the game was.
Yeah. This is something I started. I think I've done maybe 2 streams in this world.
Okay.
One of the games I actually got for Dan.
Interesting.
Look at that.
These kind of city builder ones are... there's what's going on. Hey, I forgot that I had the pop-out functionality active on here. Very nice.
I forgot to do... I don't know if I've got a game change. How are we going? Oh, okay, yeah. Been changed. Been changed already?
What's that?
Maybe we'll just quickly go with friends.
Interesting.
Income. Ben, did you do that for me? Did you change the game for me?
Dan's on top of it.
Oh yeah. I thought I'd get notifications that had been changed, but catch a fly. I can catch a fly. I don't know why, but I can catch a fly. Also have a stockpile of flies here anyway. But
I love this. I
that's
can do
a bee.
just chatting reacts live to fishy play.
Did you play?
Textual difference.
Thank you, Dan.
Horse play and pony play.
You caught a fly?
Oh, what was it that I said before?
Fence. Nice, difficult fence.
I couldn't remember the word for mosquito, so I called them a skeleton fly. Earlier today, I couldn't remember the word for a thong, and I said cloven hoof sandal. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but it's making up some real interesting terms.
That is quite interesting. Apple. I should have apples. What's my debt? Finish off this debt. That means we can go to another thing now. But down. Succeed. Bandstand. That's right. Also, I hope you like my first pet. Chicken named Denzel Cream.
Very nice.
Bird.
This music seems to be thematically matching.
Do I have a clothing drawer outside? I don't think I had a clothing drawer outside. Did I have one inside? There we are.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I'm not into like this kind of like town crafting builders simulator thing so much, and yet I play games like RimWorld. And like recently I was watching somebody else playing Kenshi, and I want to play that, and like, why? Why do I like that? Why do I like that but not this? I don't understand what's...
What is Kenshi?
Kenshi is, as far as I can tell, a single-player city builder kind of thing, but you start out as a solo character being run kind of like an RTS, kind of, but it's got the RPG things of leveling up your characters, and like what you do in game actually affects the physiology of the character over time. So this one streamer had their one character running around with a bag of bricks. They just forgot that this person was carrying around a really heavy backpack full of really heavy stuff. And they were complaining for a while about, like, why is this person so slow? I don't understand. It turned out that it was because they were loaded down with bricks. They took the backpack off. Suddenly this person was way faster. Like, way faster than anybody else in the rest of the party. And it just... learning about that mechanic made me really interested in, like, what else can you do in the game with that? Like, what other traits and features behave in that manner? And, I don't know, just, it's got the whole thing of, you get to design and build your own fortresses and create like a village or do trading routes, become a random wanderer bandit or entire army. What I've seen of it so far has just been like, you make what you will of it, because sandbox builder game, is there ever really an end, excepting specific ones like what is that one by Chucklefish? Stardew Valley. Like, that one actually has a defined story and beginning and end. Not a lot of builder games really have that.
Yeah, this one, I don't think has as much of an ending. Ben says they played a lot of Kenshi, it's fun, but sometimes unforgiving.
Yeah. I mean, if you play RimWorld, and you ever turn the difficulty beyond just casual, yeah, it's brutal. And then there's people out there that'll play it with mods that make the game even more difficult than it is by base. Like, a certain specific character.
I've watched some videos by Ambiguous Amphibian, and he does all sorts of challenges.
Yeah, I've seen people add in stuff that, like, the guns now have ammo. The bows have arrows. It is a quantifiable thing that you also have to craft and maintain. And it's like,
oh my.
Yeah, it's like, is that necessary? Do you need that? No! That poor kangaroo. All that leather. They're just wearing it.
Well, they gave leather instead of getting meat.
Comes auto-equipped with leather armor.
There's another fly flying around. Meat.
Freshly washed leather.
Yeah.
Seeing stuff that uses like voxel systems, because just not just an isometric view, but actual voxels like this, or Minecraft, I want to get into doing Minecraft again, but I've already like hit the logical end of
Wow.
what I would feasibly want to. What are you fighting?
That was a field-neck lizard.
And something else.
And there was a dingo.
Oh.
And I needed to sell 3 bugs and shells. So I need to get some shells and probably pick out a couple bugs to sell.
Do you think the people that made this game like really like Australian wildlife or really dislike Australian wildlife?
they could have been Aussies in the first place. There's cassowaries in this, but they call them I think they call them wary moos.
Huh. Waramoos? Something right in between the two, like a wallaroo?
Everything hunter. Hunting is sometimes necessary. Here is a milestone for hunting creatures.
Hunting is sometimes necessary. Here, take this broadsword. Go hunt some more.
One of the things is shells is nature's way of littering. Here's a reward for picking them up. It's actually it should be a recent-ish one. Shellfish lover. You're going to squeeze for every drink you can, even if it means dealing with shells. Here's a milestone for selling shells. And shell, yeah. Shells are nature's way of littering. Here's a milestone for picking up those bad boys. Very unrealistic. The kangaroo would have fought back. Do the emus have their machine guns to stole your kill? Thank you, Omega. Hello. Here's a recycling bin.
Good to see you. Sorry, I have my
TV.
chat minimized here. First time chat. Yep. I didn't catch that because I was just sitting there watching your stream. I'm enjoying seeing the wildlife and chewing on my own ear here. Just nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom.
Num 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 num. I mean, actually, I need to go sell these, don't I?
I don't know. There's something delightfully. There's something that's inherently completing and satisfying about seeing 3 instances of myself on screen at once as a plural individual. Plural individual. That's an oxymoron. Plural self.
And probably use a recycling bin. What is plastic toy doing in there? Actually, I'm not sure.
Why is Jimmy behind the counter there?
It does look just like Jimmy. Actually, the dingo didn't steal the kill. Actually, I'm not sure. Did it steal the kill? Never mind. Yeah, it does look like Jimmy behind the counter. But their name is John. Which is the dingo got the final hit. I wouldn't be surprised because the
did eat electricity.
manage to do a electric shock attack.
I cannot wait to eat electricity this weekend.
Yeah, it did. It's the electricity.
Actually, I got a really cool. I'm gonna have to post that in one of my channels. I got a really cool flask at thrift today. It's been way too cold. I just woke up today and it was like 55 degrees and downpouring outside. I'm sorry, 55 centigrade would be terrifying. And
raining. That'd be horrendous humidity. I'll say.
12 centigrade.
What Queensland weather? 12.
So just
kind of similar to here.
It's just been so cold for me lately, and I don't know. My body has not handled thermoregulation very well since like getting out of the hospital, and you would think I would have recovered by now, but I don't know. I guess I need to get up and move around a lot more.
I should go back and get another shovel. Also, speaking of recycling bins there, Omega, improper use of a recycling bin, filling it with who knows what, and then burying it in the desert.
Filling it with Atari cartridges for, what was it? What was the game? What was the Kids with the Moon? E.T.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, piece of video game history there. Like that actually happened. About 500,000 cartridges for E.T. were buried in the Nevada desert because they couldn't sell.
I think I might have heard of that. I have. My tools must be this one. Spare spear. I'll swap that over. Do I upgrade those to iron later? No, I'll just sell that instead. Also, I've got 4 spare shovels already.
You never know when you'll run out of shovel.
Yeah, it's happened. It's one of those games where you can only buy 1 shovel at a time. So that gave me a fair bit of money. Interesting.
I could imagine shopping interaction with this person just going in, buying a pickaxe or a shovel, walk outside, stick it in the ground, go back inside.
Hi, so this shovel that's literally about to break and fall apart, you'll buy it back for the same price, right?
No way.
No, I don't think he does. Actually, need to collect some of these Spinifex tufts. I'm sure Nico will be quite happy to play some games with you as well.
I mean, I'm honored that you asked me to like join you at all in the first place. This is my first time ever doing any kind of collab stream, so thank you very much for like helping me out with that and helping me get the chat function set up. Because like I would have been
always a pleasure to help.
Yeah,
always a pleasure to help.
It's a really nice surprise. You're just out getting dinner and you're like, hey, doing this.
Hi, video games?
Games? Games? Games with a puppy gamer? No way!
Always a pleasure.
Much the same. I'm just enjoying watching this, like, it's an absolute delight. That being said, I'm fairly certain, yeah, we could probably have the same people watching on both channels here. I can just stay in voice and drop out of my own. Let me raid over to you for the potential one viewer that isn't. Yeah, 3 and 3. It's the same.
Thought a fly's shadow was a place I could dig the item.
Alright, folks. Thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you again tomorrow evening, 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We'll be doing some Diablo. In the meantime, enjoy Diggy Diggy Hole out in the middle of the outback.
Should get some more of the lizard parts. Wolves! Thanks for coming over. It's